Guys, I feel like I'm a very accepting person. Truly, I want to like something about her. I'm searching.
I was one of the Netflix bosses, and I can assure you some of them will be absolutely fuming at the fact that Harry is not in that.
For something to like about her. And it's so hard because she suffers from such a rare disorder.
Because that is what they paid the $100 million for. That's what they wanted, brand Harry and Meghan.
Of being unable to just be a human. Do you know what I mean? I've never seen this sort of before. I've never seen someone that struggles.
They didn't just pay for Meghan, you know, actress off Suits, married well. They want Harry included in it.
To just give us like one strip of authenticity. Because I know other women who are listening to this podcast can totally relate.
And he wasn't. So I think that it's a very, very bad move. And if she wants to get renewed for that third season, this isn't a good start.
When I have my girlfriends over and we're cooking, all of us are in full glam. And we're like, it's not about perfection.
To Meghan, because what With Love, Meghan season 1.2 proves is exactly what we've been shouting.
But then you look at what we've made and it's literally perfect. In fact, just when I make a cake, it looks just like that with my girlfriends.
She's boring without royal scandal. She clings to her title because she knows Meghan Markle doesn't sell.
I look perfect. They look perfect. The cake looks perfect. But we say it's not about perfection.
Duchess of Sussex does. And her brand, ice cubes and flower petals, are a brand.
Really? Because I feel like it maybe is precisely about perfection. Skipping through with honey and bees. Like
They're like a commercial, like a filler content. That's all it is. This is why her wine isn't selling.
Are you trying to be? And I just want to know who's around her. Because I feel like she needs Taylor Swift's marketing team. Okay.
Why her gems feel gimmicky? Why every single business move comes across as desperate.
It seems like Meghan Markle's Hollywood dream may be slipping through her fingers faster than anyone expected. After stepping away from the royal family and signing multi-million-dollar deals with Netflix, the Duchess of Sussex was painted as someone ready to build her own empire, separate from the crown. But now, whispers inside the entertainment industry are suggesting that the hype might be over. With her Netflix lifestyle series With Love, Meghan reportedly facing cancellation after just 2 seasons, experts are beginning to question whether Meghan has lost the cultural grip she once held. Fans are asking, has the Duchess run out of steam, or is this just the beginning of yet another reinvention? And more importantly, if Netflix pulls the plug, what could Meghan possibly do next? Reports have begun circulating that Meghan Markle's Netflix project With Love, Meghan could be coming to an abrupt halt after just 2 seasons, and that possibility has already sent shockwaves through both fans and critics alike. What was once marketed as a glossy peek into Meghan's carefully curated lifestyle may now be on the chopping block, with entertainment insiders whispering that Netflix executives are reconsidering whether the series has the staying power to justify another renewal. Betting analyst Joe Lyons of Pundit Arena added fuel to the fire by suggesting the odds are stacked heavily against Meghan, with predictions sitting at 1/2 that the show will be cancelled after its 2nd season. That's not just speculation, it's an industry signal that insiders believe the writing may already be on the wall. And when you consider Netflix's history of cutting expensive content that doesn't deliver big numbers, the future looks even more precarious. Remember, this is the same platform that has axed shows with massive fan followings because they didn't meet performance expectations, so the bar for survival is higher than ever. The reality is simple. With Love, Meghan hasn't reached the level of cultural dominance that Netflix wants from its high-profile partnerships. Instead of dominating headlines, the show has quietly blended into the platform's endless carousel of lifestyle content, and that's dangerous territory for a brand built on hype. With this uncertainty hanging overhead, the question becomes less about whether Netflix will stick by Meghan and more about where she goes if they don't. And as experts warn, that next move may define her entire post-royal career. As the rumors of cancellation grow louder, many observers point to one glaring problem. Meghan Markle's star power just doesn't shine as brightly as it once did. When she and Prince Harry first inked their Netflix deal, it was touted as a game changer, a partnership that could reshape the way the streaming giant used celebrity influence. At the time, Meghan was at the center of every headline. Whether adored for breaking royal tradition or criticized for turning her back on palace protocol, she had the kind of magnetic pull that guaranteed attention. But fast forward to today, and the cultural buzz has cooled. Viewership for With Love, Meghan has been underwhelming compared to the blockbuster content Netflix usually bets on, and that gap matters. Analysts suggest that audiences who were once curious about every detail of Meghan's life are now less eager to tune in, with some critics bluntly describing the show as uninspired and predictable. For Netflix, that's a dangerous signal. The company has built its empire on delivering binge-worthy hits, and if Meghan's brand isn't drawing subscribers the way they hoped, executives may see little reason to keep pouring resources into her projects. On top of that, some entertainment insiders quietly suggest that Meghan has struggled to carve out a consistent identity, dabbling in lifestyle content, dabbling in advocacy, but never fully locking into one lane. That lack of clarity may be hurting her long-term staying power, creating the perception that she's chasing attention rather than setting trends. And if the shine has truly worn off, the challenge isn't just saving her show, it's rebuilding her entire brand before the public moves on completely. But that wasn't the whole story. With the future of her Netflix series hanging in the balance, speculation has already shifted to what Meghan Markle might do next, and one possibility seems to dominate the conversation: a memoir. Betting analysts have placed Meghan's potential book at the top of the list of her next ventures, giving it the strongest odds of actually happening. It wouldn't be surprising. After all, her husband, Prince Harry, shook the publishing world with his explosive memoir, Spare, in 2023, a release that not only broke sales records, but also ignited one of the biggest waves of royal controversy in decades. For Meghan, a memoir could serve as both a powerful tool to reclaim her narrative and a chance to cash in on the enduring public curiosity about her life. Insiders note that she has yet to tell her story fully in her own words, and the promise of behind-the-scenes truths from a duchess who walked away from the monarchy could be irresistible to publishers. But there's also a darker side to this idea. Another tell-all could stir up even more backlash from critics who accuse her of exploiting her royal ties for profit, while at the same time risking further alienation from the very family she once belonged to. Some reports even suggest that publishers would push Meghan to be more sensational than Harry in order to guarantee sales, creating a pressure cooker scenario where every detail of her private life could be dissected on a global stage. And that leaves Meghan at a crossroads. A memoir could either reignite her influence and give her a commanding voice, or it could fuel the perception that she's endlessly capitalizing on drama. For fans, the looming question isn't just whether she'll write the book, it's how much she's really willing to reveal if she does. And while the odds may favor a memoir, whispers of another career pivot are growing louder in a very different direction. Beyond the possibility of a memoir, there's another path that many observers believe could define Meghan Markle's future: fashion. Ever since she first stepped into the global spotlight, Meghan has been recognized not only for her role in the royal family, but also for her carefully curated style. From the elegant dresses she wore at high-profile events to the more relaxed yet polished looks she sported in California, Meghan has always understood the power of fashion to send a message. Reports suggest that entering the fashion and lifestyle industry is one of the most plausible moves she could make, with betting odds placing it at 3/1. This wouldn't be a stretch. Her wardrobe choices have been dissected in magazines, blogs, and social media threads for years, with entire fan pages dedicated to replicating her looks. Some insiders argue that Meghan could launch her own clothing line or partner with luxury brands, positioning herself as a tastemaker in a market that thrives on celebrity influence. Comparisons have already been drawn to figures like Victoria Beckham, who successfully transitioned from pop star to fashion mogul. But skeptics caution that the timing may not be on Meghan's side. With questions surrounding her brand relevance, industry leaders may hesitate to gamble on whether she still has the mass appeal needed to sell collections on a global scale. Even so, her ability to command media attention could be enough to secure partnerships, at least initially. And with the fashion world always hungry for a new face, Meghan could try to reinvent herself as more than just a Duchess-turned-TV host. Whether audiences would embrace her as a genuine designer or simply see her as another celebrity chasing a trend is the gamble. But it's one that could either secure her influence or expose the limits of her reach. Still, fashion isn't the only comeback being whispered about, because some believe Meghan might be ready to return to the career she walked away from long before she met Harry. Another possibility that keeps surfacing in the speculation surrounding Meghan Markle's next move is a return to the very industry that first put her on the map: acting. Before becoming the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan built her career on television, most famously playing Rachel Zane in the hit legal drama Suits. Ironically, the series has experienced a massive resurgence in popularity thanks to its re-release on Netflix and Peacock, introducing Meghan to a brand new wave of viewers who may not have even followed her royal journey. With that renewed interest, some entertainment insiders believe the timing could be perfect for a Hollywood comeback. Betting markets currently put the odds at 6-1 for Meghan to reappear on screen. And while those aren't the strongest numbers, the buzz around her former career is undeniable. For Meghan, acting again could serve as both a redemption arc and a way to reestablish her own identity outside the shadow of the monarchy. However, the road back wouldn't be without its challenges. Critics would likely accuse her of backtracking or using Hollywood as a safety net after her other projects failed to soar. Casting directors may also hesitate, wary of the media circus that follows Meghan wherever she goes. Still, the entertainment industry has a long history of reinventions, and audiences love a comeback story, especially when it involves someone as polarizing as Meghan Markle. If she were to choose the right role, something that reintroduces her not just as a celebrity, but as a serious performer, it could shift the narrative entirely. The question is whether Meghan has the patience and resilience to step back into a world that demands both thick skin and flawless timing. And while the possibility of acting again has intrigued fans, some argue Meghan's struggle isn't about talent or opportunity at all. It's about finding a clear path forward while her husband's career takes on a very different trajectory. While Meghan weighs her next move, comparisons between her career trajectory and Prince Harry's have become impossible to ignore. Since their joint Netflix debut with the documentary series Harry and Meghan, the couple's paths have slowly started to diverge. Harry has leaned into projects tied to his long-standing passions, from the Invictus Games to advocacy around mental health, carving out a brand that, while controversial, feels steady and rooted in purpose. Meghan, on the other hand, has explored multiple avenues: lifestyle shows, media production, podcasts, and now speculation of memoirs, fashion, or acting, yet none seem to have fully cemented her as a consistent force in Hollywood. Analysts argue that this imbalance creates the perception that Harry is on a defined mission while Meghan is still searching for her lane, a dynamic that could complicate their joint brand moving forward. Some reports even suggest that Harry's projects carry a weight of seriousness that appeals to institutions and sponsors, while Meghan's endeavors are often framed as lighter, more experimental, and at times less impactful. That contrast has fueled speculation about whether Meghan feels overshadowed by her husband, a question that tabloids eagerly amplify whenever her ventures receive lukewarm responses. To her supporters, this is an unfair narrative. Meghan has every right to explore multiple passions and redefine herself outside of palace walls. But to her critics, it looks like she's struggling to keep up in a race where Harry's focus gives him an advantage. This dynamic raises a larger question. Can Meghan reinvent herself into a powerhouse brand that stands independently of her husband, or will she always be forced into comparison with Harry's more consistent image? The answer may determine not just the future of her projects, but the balance of power within their Hollywood partnership. And while this contrast is fascinating, what really tips the scales is how the public and media continue to respond to Meghan's every move. As Meghan Markle's projects face uncertainty, the reaction from the public and the media has been nothing short of polarizing. On one side, loyal supporters defend her ventures as genuine attempts to build a life of independence, free from the constraints of royal tradition. They argue that Meghan has been unfairly scrutinized from the moment she stepped into the spotlight and that her projects deserve more patience and understanding. But on the other side, critics remain vocal and relentless, dismissing her Netflix series as uninspired and labeling her brand as directionless. Social media has become a battleground, with hashtags both praising and mocking her, often trending at the same time. Entertainment insiders note that Netflix executives are paying close attention to these conversations, as online buzz often translates into real-world interest or lack thereof. The mixed reception has created a narrative that Meghan is struggling to keep audiences invested, a dangerous place to be in an industry that thrives on momentum. What's more, the media has begun to frame her story not around success, but around speculation. Will she bounce back, or is she fading into irrelevance? That framing alone shifts the way viewers perceive her, making every project seem like a test she must pass. And while some fans insist she has the resilience to rise again, others believe the public's fascination is slowly wearing off, leaving Meghan at risk of becoming yesterday's headline. Yet, with her name still sparking debate and dominating tabloid chatter, one thing is certain: people haven't stopped watching. And that brings us to the biggest question of all. What comes next for the Duchess of Sussex as she stands at this pivotal crossroads? At this point, Meghan Markle stands at a crossroads that could very well define the rest of her career. With whispers of Netflix cutting ties and with Love, Meghan possibly ending after only 2 seasons, the polished Hollywood empire she once seemed destined to build now looks uncertain. Yet, in that uncertainty lies opportunity. Whether it's a tell-all memoir that could finally give her full control of her story, a leap into the fashion world where her style becomes her signature, or even a daring return to acting that reconnects her with the career she left behind, Meghan's next step has the potential to either rebuild her influence or risk cementing her as a fleeting figure of intrigue. What makes this moment so striking is the contrast. Harry's path may be clearer, but Meghan's is wide open, and that unpredictability fuels endless speculation. The world may debate whether she's losing attention, but in reality, the very question of what she does next is keeping her name firmly in the headlines. For Meghan, the challenge is no longer about proving she can break free from the monarchy. It's about proving she can stand the test of time in an industry that moves on quickly. And as fans, critics, and media outlets wait to see if she reinvents herself yet again, one question lingers louder than all the rest. Is Meghan Markle on the verge of her boldest transformation yet, or is Hollywood finally ready to move on without her?